now, in order to understand that, or if you want to identify that, okay, person A is better consultant than person B, these are some of the things that I have identified, which are the key traits that a good cybersecurity consultant should have. Okay, the five core things that we identified, which are very critical and which should be understood by all the consultants in order to excel as a cybersecurity consultant. Okay, again, you might excel in your career as a very technical guy, as a very tech savvy guy, or as a business manager. But again, in order to excel as a cybersecurity consultant, you need to master the skills in all these five domains, which is people, process, technology, project management, and ethics. So, people, as a cybersecurity consultant, you will be conducting meetings, walkthroughs, interviews with a lot of different kind of people. Some are good, some are bad, right? So, in order to make sure that you are properly communicating with different variety of people, who might not be willing to share the information with you, who might not be very happy to let you know or let you identify the issues in them. So it is very critical that you have good communication skills, you are good with people, and you are not someone who is coming in to identify the issues and without helping them solve them, you are leaving them. Okay. The reason being is that we are working as cybersecurity consultants. Sometimes we are reviewing the implementation, sometimes we are helping the people out, right? But not everyone is as receptive. Okay. A lot of people think that we will be identifying the issues in their implementation and that might have a bad impact on their career growth. We have witnessed this a lot of times in a lot of different clients. So this is something which is very important, that you should know how to interact with people properly. The other thing which is very important is processes. A good consultant should have a very comprehensive understanding of different processes which are being conducted in different businesses, right? For example, you should have an idea about what is change management process, what is software development lifecycle, what is configuration management process, what are the hiring processes, what is the project management process, right? So all these different kind of processes you should be able to understand slowly, and you should be able to clearly identify the differences between these processes. In smaller organizations, these processes might be overlapping, right? In bigger organizations, they will be properly defined, they will be proper isolations, so it will be much easier for you to understand the processes. But again, every process have some basic characteristics, you need to understand them. For example, if you are considering change management, there will be someone who is requesting the change, there will be someone who will be accepting the change, there should be someone who is conducting the risk assessment for the change. Okay, so these are all the different processes that you should master, so that once you are getting into any organization, you can help them out in solving the issues in their processes. Okay, a lot of times we have seen the cybersecurity professionals recommending things without understanding the processes, and what happens, that those recommendations just remain recommendations and they are not implemented within the processes. Okay, and that basically kills the very purpose of adding cybersecurity. The next point is related to technology. Now, a very important point which should be clear and that could really help you excel as a cybersecurity consultant is that you should understand that you cannot master all the technologies at once. Like it will take 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to master most of the technologies. Okay. So the important thing is that you identify the technology which is being used in a client environment, so that you go back home, you learn about that technology, and then you identify the cybersecurity controls in it. Okay. For example, if you want to conduct a risk assessment of a specific application, for example, you want to conduct the risk assessment of SAP, or you want to conduct risk assessment of Microsoft 365, or you want to conduct risk assessment of Oracle Cloud infrastructure, right? You will not be mastering the things. What you should be good in, you should be good in conducting risk assessment, and you should have just enough knowledge to understand the technology and then conduct the risk assessment according to that. Okay. In addition, sometimes you will be auditing the systems. In that also, you should be very clear that what you want to learn, what knowledge you should have. Because again, you cannot master the technology in 4 or 5 days, right? You cannot understand the application completely in 4 or 5 days. So the best thing is that you should have the basic knowledge, the basic technical knowledge, but your cybersecurity core concepts should be very strong so that you can make them applicable on different kind of technologies. The second last point, which is very important, is project management. Because you will be communicating with a lot of different clients, you will be growing, and as you grow in your as a consultant, you will be having more customers, you will be having more clients that you will be managing at one time. All of them will have different requirements, all of them will have different expectations. So it is very important that you have good project management skills. Again, project management is not following everything by book, but it is making sure that all the deliverables, all the communication is done properly, and there's no confusion among your different um, customers or your clients. The last one, which is the most important, is ethics. As a cybersecurity consultant, how you define your ethical values is very critical. The reason being that you might be working for two organizations for whom you are providing the cybersecurity consulting services, right? But at the same time, those two organizations might be competing with each other in the market, right? So you might have very critical knowledge related to each of them with you. Okay, so it is very important that you keep that information to yourself and you're not sharing them with their opposite competitors, etc. Okay. The other thing which is very important, and of course I also learned that over time, is that honesty is the best policy. Now, in terms of cybersecurity, it becomes very critical. A lot of times it happens that the cybersecurity consultants do some work, and while they're closing it, they identify some issues in it. Okay. So instead of communicating that to the customer, instead of communicating that to the client, they just hid that information. They say, okay, just get away with the project, close the project, and run away from here. Now, at that time, you might be able to get away with it, but over time, the risk which you have put in the your client, okay, those are something which are very critical, because at the end of the day, all the customers, the clients, they are trusting you by providing you the responsibility of conducting their cybersecurity reviews or helping them with the cybersecurity activities. Okay, so these are the 5 things. Of course, you cannot excel in all of them at one time, but over time, you should make sure that you are growing in each one of them one by one.